So for this vlog, I'll be discussing chapter 17. Chapter 17 is based upon the case of a fatal accident. And so basically this chapter just describes how journalists must often report on the ugly side of life or even death. People are affected by tragedy, often bear their pain bravely, but reluctant to share it publicly. When a video of a fatal traffic accident was shown to jurors during the trial, reporters covering the case were faced with a decision to air the video or not at a grieving family's request. So basically this case will be discussing how these reporters will contemplate on either posting the video publicly for everyone to see, because I know people like to know what goes on in situations as well, but man, this is a tough situation. So I don't know if I was in the reporter's shoes, I don't know if I would have revealed this video, simply because I just feel like it has something to do with respect for the family. So genuinely, I probably wouldn't have posted the video, but I'm just going to give you a little bit more insight on the chapter. So the situation, there's a soldier, a girl, alcohol, and a red light. In El Paso, Texas, 19-year-old Valerie sat waiting at a red light early morning of December 29, 2007. Suddenly, a SUV traveling at an estimated 60 miles per hour crashed into the back of her car and another one waiting beside it. Valerie's car took the brunt of the crash. An ambulance rushed her to a hospital where she died later that day. The driver of the SUV was Staff Sergeant Edison Baez, a soldier stationed at the nearby Fort Bliss. He had returned from a tour of duty in Iraq just 10 days before the crash. Police charged him with intoxicated manslaughter. Baez had a blood alcohol content of 0.27, more than 3 times the legal limit. Like, just telling the story alone, I feel like people will understand what happened. Like, they didn't need to include the video, because just from you seeing him having a blood alcohol count of 0.27, like, that should let you know how belligerent he was and how dangerous this situation was and how fast he probably hit her, and just to even think about how things, perspired or how they went down. So to continue, Baez had a trial a year and a half later. His lawyer argued that he suffered from PTSD that had not been diagnosed by the Army's doctor. Well, I'm gonna be real, most people aren't necessarily diagnosed with PTSD until after they are already out of the military. So I don't really like the fact that the lawyer tried to argue that in this case, because he could have suffered from PTSD, but he's still in the military. So therefore, he needs to get him some help to be able to fight these battles, to not put any citizens in danger, because even though he suffers PTSD, a lot of other people suffer a lot of other mental illnesses, but that doesn't give anyone the right to go out and drink recklessly, then drive recklessly, and then kill somebody. That's just not how that works. So they go on to say a reporter in El Paso covered the sergeant's trial. He had graduated from Texas State University only 6 months before and was working part-time for the CBS affiliate. And this is the reporter for the trial. The news department's budget had been cut, and as only dayside reporter, he was sent to the courthouse. A few days into the trial, the judge's clerk tipped off the media that the district attorney would present a red light camera video in court that day. So basically, this is where the ball started to roll. Once they said they were gonna present the red light camera video in court, this video just, kind of took everybody by surprise. This video, taken by a camera positioned to catch drivers who run red lights, showed the SUV hitting Valerie's car and pushing it through the intersection. The reporters were excited about the tip, but faced some complications. Neither the police nor district attorney would provide reporters with copies of the video. Not only that, but news cameras were not allowed in the courtroom. Reporters worried that they might not be able to show their viewers the trial's most compelling evidence. So basically, the reporters wanted to make sure that the evidence made it to the actual courthouse before you know, it made it to media and got, you know, maybe even chopped and screwed to where some things that weren't said at the courthouse got put into the video. So I feel where they were coming from. Overall, this chapter, it kind of gave me a different perspective when it comes to cases and different things like that. Because in one section, they talk about, can you please not use the video? So I feel like there was enough supporting evidence in this case to not have to use the video. I think they just want to use the video to maybe, you know, sway the jury or sway some type of opinion, because once you see it physically or the gruesome and different things like that, it definitely pulls on heartstrings. So overall, if I was in this situation, I probably would not have included the video. But if it came down to it, like the guy who did it didn't feel remorseful, then yeah. Or even maybe should we run some of the video and not all of it? And that was also a question in this. Towards the end of the chapter, they run the response and they just feel like it's best to run the whole thing. So overall, I see where they're coming from in this chapter. I enjoyed reading this chapter, and this was also another one of the sad ones, but yeah.